Okay, what we have here is a review for our first assessment. It is pretty long. It's one of the harder assessments, I think, this semester, just because of all the story problems it has. But we've been working on those, so you should have been getting a little more confidence with it. All right, now, with the graphing, here's what you need to do. They're all lines, okay? I can tell you that. Identify the form it's in first. There's two here and two on the back. Here's y, here's x. Is the y by itself? Yup, so it's in slope, intercept form. Okay, now, next question I have for you is, do we have the equal sign there? Yup, so it's going to be solid. And I don't have to do a test because there's no greater than or less than. The line will be just fine. Okay, my next problem. Here's y, here's x. Is the y by itself or are the x and y together on one side? They're together, so that's in standard form. And again, do I have the equal sign there? Yep, so it's solid. Okay, let's go to the next side. This one's neither because I don't only have one of the variables. Okay, neither, and it's going to be a solid line because we have equals. And this, are the x and y, are they together on one side? Yep, so that's standard. And is the equals to there? No, it's not. So that is going to be dashed. And because we have a greater than sign, we are going to need to do a test down here. Okay, a true-false test, TF. All right, now let's do our thing with the graphs. Okay, slope-intercept form. So we need an M and a B. The M is the number, whatever is in front of the X, and then I write the word slope and y-intercept. So the slope is the M, -2/3, and the y-intercept's +1. So we do the y-intercept first, and that would just go up to 1. Okay, and we use our slope to get to the other points. 2 is negative, so we'll be going down 2, and we always go to the right with the bottom. So, and that's from this point. So down 2, right 1, 2, 3. Down 2, 1, 2, 3. And that's our line. You just need to put the line. That's all you need to do. Okay. Put the arrows on each end. Okay, standard form. Standard form is when we set up our table with the 0, 0. And we want to copy that equation down twice. So 3x, I'm gonna put plus -4y so everybody knows that that 4 is negative. And then I write it down a second time. Okay, if x is 0, we eliminate 3x. And I just need to divide by -4 on both sides. And that gives me 3. 0, 3 is the y-intercept. Now to find the x-intercept, y is 0, so get him out. Divide by 3. Divide by 3. And that's -4. Okay, so let's graph 0, 3 first. So 1, 2, 3. And let's graph -4, 0. So 1, 2, 3, 4. It is solid. And I do not need to do a true-false test because there's no greater than or less than. Okay. Okay, neither. Well, neither we're just going to set up, it's on one variable equation. So y is equal to 6. So that means y is 6 at all places. And the x is not here, so that's going to be 1, 2, 3. Okay. So 1, 6. So 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 6. So 2, 6, and 3, 6. There you go. Okay, this is again in standard forms, and it's going to be dashed, so remember that because we don't have equals, and we are going to have to do a true-false test, which kind of is crappy. So standard form, we want to do the xy-intercept table. Write that down twice. 3x plus -4y equals 48. 3x plus negative 4y equals 48. Okay, so x is 0. We can eliminate that. And we'll divide by negative 4. Remember, you always divide. Okay, you don't have to add or subtract anything. And that's negative 12. And y is 0. So we'll divide by 3. And that's 16. Okay. Okay, we're going to need to count by 2. So 0, negative 12. So remember, this is x, this is y. So down 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. And then 16, 0. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Okay, it's going to be dashed. And we got to do our test. Now, what's the best point we always pick for a test? You got to pick a point somewhere. What's the most efficient one? The middle. Because at that point, we can just know, we know that both the variables are 0. So take this and just copy this under here. It's all you got to do to start with. 3x minus 4y greater than 48. Okay, now let's replace the x and the y. Since they have numbers in front, we probably want to put parentheses around them before we just scribble them out. So that's 0 and that's 0. So what's 3 times? Remember, you're taking these zeros and plugging them in for the variables. So that's 0 and that's 0. So it's 0 and 48. 48's bigger, but the sign is not opening up towards it, so that has got to be false, man. Okay? So this is F, and this is T. Okay, and then there's this page. Solve the inequality, graph your solution. So with inequalities, we represent our answers on number lines. So remember how you're going to do this. Find your variable. Make sure you know the coefficient. That's the only variable you have. So circle this along with its coefficient, and that negative 6 goes under there too. You don't have to add or subtract, okay? Now, question, do you have a negative in that circle? I think you do. So when you have a negative, those are numbers you have to multiply and divide by. So because of the negative, that sign is going to flip. Okay, you need to make that circle. As long as there's one single variable, you make the circle. So what we need to do with this thing in the bottom, in the denominator, we just need to multiply that to the other side. Okay, so I'm going to have 1x, and I'm going to have negative 12. And then I don't need to divide by 1. I just transfer my work over here because I don't have to divide. I have x, and I have negative 12. Okay, so negative 12 is my number, and we're going this way with it. Okay, next one's another one of the same deal. Here's my x. That's the only x I have. It has a coefficient of negative 7, so circle it. Is there a negative in that circle? Yup, so switch the sign. Okay, then you just do it like normal. So I have negative 7x, the sign greater than or equal to 14, and then we divide. And remember, on these, when I divide, I want to transfer my work here where the sign has been flipped. So that's x, and that's negative 2. Circle, bars there, so fill it in, and it goes this way. That's how you solve inequalities. Okay, now absolute value equations. That's an absolute value, so you're going to make your table here, and there's 2 answers we need to find. Because remember, there's always 2 places on a number line you can be a certain distance from 0. Now, we have a problem. The absolute value is not equal to 24 because of this 4 here. And no, you can't use the rainbows. It's not a parentheses. You need to use the inverse operations. That means the 4 is multiplied because that's a dot. It's in front. So you do the opposite to deal with the 4. So what's the opposite of multiplying? divide. So I'm going to divide by 4 on this side to get it out of there, and then divide by 4 on this side. And that's equal to 6, okay? So the absolute value x minus 5 is now equal to 6. Now that the outside of the absolute value is clear, I have nothing here, no plus or minus behind it. I know the absolute value is equal to 6. So where are the two places you can be 6 from 0? Well, 6 or negative 6. And we have x minus 5. Okay. Then you just solve it. Plus 5 plus 5. It gives me 11 for my first answer. Plus 5 gives me negative 1 for my second. Okay, now these directions are messed up. You need to convert it from standard form to slope-intercept form. Okay, so slope-intercept form means we need to circle the y. And I'm going to divide by 2, but first I got to undo the negative 4x, y plus 4x. And remember, that would go behind the negative 16, because you see, I can't take negative 16 and 4x. One has a letter, one doesn't. So we're good. That's all you got to do. Now you need to divide by 2. All three of these need to be divided by 2, because here you get the cancellation. Divide that by 2 and that by 2. So that's going to be y. Negative 16 divided by 2 is negative 8 plus 2x. Okay. That's what you do. Now it's in slope-intercept form. Get the y by itself. Okay, story problem time. And I'm going to go through these pretty quick because I've been doing them like crazy the last 2 days. Okay, let's say Netflix institutes a new policy of a $30, and you have this sheet, but I'm not really going to refer to it as much as I have been because I want to get the video so we doesn't take all class period. Let's say Netflix institutes a new policy of a $30 sign-up fee plus 45-cent charge for every movie viewed online. If you owe $64.65, how many online movies did you view? Finding the movies, and it looks like we have 2 units, the money and the movies. So, boom, boom, boom. So money, movies. Okay, there's no time unit, so whatever it is you're buying is the X and then Y. Because it's always Y per X, and money per movie makes a heck of a lot more sense than the other way. So I know for every movie it's 45 cents. Okay. Each, per, they all mean the same thing. So we know that. So it's a line. X comma Y plus MX Y. Okay, and I know my M is 45 cents. Okay, prior to that, you had 30, okay? Okay, so write the equation. 30 plus 0.45x equals y, okay? All right, 64.65 is the replacement value, and that's money, so that's y. So that's where we're going to be putting it. So 30 plus 0.45x equals 64.65. And then get that x by itself. You got to undo the 30 by subtracting. And 0.45x equals 34.65, sorry. And then divide by 0.45. $77, okay? So x equals 77, which is my answer. Okay, next one. Ooh, we haven't done one of these. We haven't been working on these. They're short, but you got to know what you're doing. Item that used to cost $25.59 has been put on discount for 25% off. What's the cost after the discount? Okay, you're doing a change in percent, so we are going to make ratios. And this is my percent ratio with 100 on bottom. Now, you don't want to put 25 because 25% off means we take 100 minus 25. If it was adding, you'd add it, and that's 75. Okay, now, the 100% is always before, and the other percent is always after. And then over here, you got after, before, same way it is over there. Okay, did the item cost, and that's money, if you want to put dollar signs, that helps. One of them's X and one of them's a $25.59, but you got to put $25.59 in the right place. Okay, $25.59, was that before they put it on discount or after? Well, it says it used to cost $25.59, so in chronological order, that would have been before, okay? So that's going here. You just got to think about it. Okay, cross multiply and divide, real easy. Okay, once that's set up. Basically, knowing where to put that is the hard part. But if you read and make sense of it. Okay, I got $19.19. Okay, it went 4 decimals out, but as a money amount, that's good enough. Okay, next one. A person has put up 188 feet of fence for his cattle in 4 hours. Another farmer has constructed 205 feet of fence for his cattle in 6 hours. If 2 people have constructed 1,020 feet of fence for a huge ranch, how long will it take them working together? So we're finding the hours, and it looks like we have 2 units. Okay, so I've got feet and hours. X is hours, Y is feet, so per. Okay, feet per hour, I have no idea what that is, and it's 2 separate farmers, so it wouldn't be the same thing. Okay, and I don't really want to know when they're equal, so I'm going to leave that empty for now, would be the way to go. And you got to remember, these farmers are working. So if you don't work for any time, you don't get any work done. So that is direct variation. Okay, so we need to abort mission on this line. Okay, as soon as it's direct variation, just don't worry about it anymore, because you know you're going to use ratios. You got one person plus another person. There's three ratios. They're separate and then together, and we need to be putting the hours on bottom. Okay, 188 and 4, that works. 205 and 6. And then when they're working together, they need to do 1,020 feet. We just need to figure out how long it takes. So that's X. So over here, this is the only ratio I have. Okay, leave that alone. And we need to add these two together. So 188 ABC 4 plus 205 ABC 6. I get 81 and 1/6. Well, that's a mixed number, so that's not going to work. So we're not ready to multiply and divide yet, because I need to convert this into an improper fraction. What is the bottom number under the line? 6. Keep it there. Now the top, you take your whole number 81 times the bottom and plus the top. Okay, 81 times 6 plus 1 is 487. Cross multiply and divide. So you take 1,020 times 6 divided by 487. That's going to be 12.5 or 12.6. So it's going to take about 12.5 hours. Okay. Remember, if you add that and you get a mixed number out, you got to know how to deal with it. Moving along. One web service charges a $50 installation fee and a cost of $33 per month for internet service. Another web service has free installation but charges $36 per month for internet service. Approximate the number of months in which the first service becomes cheaper than the second. Okay, here's the months, and it looks like we have 2 units again. And those 2 units, what are they? Money and months. Okay, so X is months, Y is money. So per dollars per month. Well, as you read that, we had $33 per month. But if you go to the other place, it's 36. So those are separate. When you have 2 separate, we make 2 separate lines. So X comma Y, you just make them the same thing. They're cookie cutters, okay? So 33 and 36. Okay, so prior to 33, you got 50, okay? $36, and then I don't see anything before the 36, so we're going to put that as 0, but you can't call it a DV problem because you have an initial amount right there, so you need to proceed with the equation. You want to know when these are equal, okay? So I want to know when 50 plus 33x is equal to 36x. Okay, multiple x's, different sides, balance out the smaller one. Okay, you can't just add them together, you balance out the smaller one. So that's 50 equals 3x divided by 3. And that's a decimal, but it's very close to 17, so that's what I'm going to put. Okay, so 17 months. All right. My sister makes $3 per hour more than I do in a week. This week I'll work 20 hours and she'll work 17 hours. We're going to put our money together to buy my mother a gift. We end up with $366.50 to spend. How much do each of us make per hour individually? Now it looks like this one's 3 units, so 3 units. Okay. And you should be getting in the habit of knowing how to set those up. All right, so together, and then how many units? Single, and the money is a unit, so we're going to put money and the money total. Okay, and then there's sister and I. Okay, those are underlined. Sister, I, and money. Sister and I would be across the top, and then the money here. Okay, what's her total money, dog? $366.50. Out. Remember, this is for non-money, okay? 20 hours, that's not money, so that goes here. That's me, that's I. Cross it out. 17 hours, that's she, okay, sister. You can add them and say it's 37, but this box is really pretty useless because we're not going to put anything in there. Okay, now we're on the hunt. Cross that out. Now we're on the hunt, on the lookout for actual money quantities. And you see 3. My sister makes 3, but what's it say after it? More. 3 more. That means you can't just put 3 and say, oh, good. Okay? You want to put X plus 3 and X. Okay, that's how you handle more than. The variable plus that quantity and then the variable itself. So X plus 3 is my sister because she makes more, and then X is me. So that's 20X. Now, do you have a plus in there? Yeah, I think you do. So make your put a 1 and make your distributive property rainbows. Because you can't add them, but they need to be multiplied by 17. So that's 17X. 17 times 1x, and 17 times 3 is 51. Okay, bottom row is filled out, and oh, awesome, the letters are the same, so I can just add them. I don't need to create that system crap. So that's 37x plus 51 equals 366.50. Okay, and then we minus 51. So 37x equals, okay, 315.5. And then we divide by 37. Okay, I get 8.527. That's okay. $8.53. Okay. And find the solo x right there. That's I, solo x. So I'm 853. And then remember up here, if I'm 853, my sister's 3 more. So you just plus 3. Okay. 1153. The second answer is really easy to find on those more than things. Okay. All right, next problem. Snap mix contains corn flakes and Cheerios. 220 ounces cereal are needed. Cheerios come in 17-ounce boxes. Corn flakes come in 15-ounce boxes. I can't buy more than 6 boxes of cereal. How many of each type of cereal should I buy? Cheerios, corn flakes. Okay, looks like we have 3 units. Actually, I know this one's going to get cut short because I wrote the problem wrong, but we'll get to that. Together, so the 3 primary units are Cheerios and corn flakes. See, Cheerios and corn. Okay, now how many units? Okay, single, but we don't want to put money. So I've used it be ounces, OZ. And then total, that would also be OZ. So which total ounces do you have? 220. Now go up here and remember this was ounces, so this has nothing to do with ounces. So not ounces. Okay. Okay. 17 is ounces. It does not belong here. 15 is ounces. Doesn't belong here. Okay, 6 belongs here because it's not ounces. Okay, 6 boxes of cereal. What doesn't say whether it's Cheerios or Corn Flakes. So that's 6. And so we got to label that X and that Y. Okay, whenever we know the together but not the separate, we got to go with that. Okay, so now we do look for ounces. Cheerios 17, Corn Flakes 15. So that's 17X and 15Y. Okay, unfortunately these are not the same variable. It's an equation, but they're not the same. So we have this equation from the bottom, and then the other one comes from the top. So I have 1x plus 1y equals 6. 17x plus 15y equals 220. Common absolute value, I think not. So get your dots going. 17, so 17, 17, 17, 1, 1, 1, 1. Okay, so we get 17x plus 17y, 102, okay. Then the bottom, 17x plus 15y, and that's 220. Okay, so remember these are this common, but they got to be opposite. So negative, 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 and those cancel. So I add these two, I get 2y. And I add these two, and I get negative 118. Well, the problem with this is I get a negative answer. Okay, negative 59. Can't happen on a story problem, so it's no solution. Okay. That won't happen on an assessment. I just wrote it wrong. Okay. One person goes to the grocery store and buys 3 jars of peanut butter and 4 jars of jelly. His receipt totals $15.93. A second person buys 3 jars of peanut butter, 6 jars of jelly for a cost of $20.31. Calculate the cost of a jar of peanut butter and a jar of jelly. Okay. All right, so 3 units again, the peanut butter, the jelly, and the money. So together, So PB and jelly are my two primary units. So how many units? Single. Total, and our third unit is money and D. Okay. So what's our total cost? There's two of them. We have one person with 15.93 and the other one 20.31. Now cross those out. Okay, remember, not money on top. Okay, money's for these two, not on top. So 3 is not money, that's peanut butter. 4 is not money, that's jelly. 3, yep, peanut butter. 6 is jelly, and cross out those. Okay, this box is useless. That box is always useless. I don't have anything else in here, okay? So I have to call these money amounts X and Y. So that's 3X. And 3X beneath it, nice. I'll have this a common absolute value right away. And then 4Y and 6Y. Okay, so here's my two equations. So it's time for another system setup. So 3X plus 4Y equals 15.93. 3x plus 6y equals 20.31. And we already have a match right there in front of the x's. They just have to be, we got to switch the bottom so I don't, no multiplying needed, okay? Because I already have a match. Negative, negative, negative. You do have to do that though, so that they cancel out. So 4 plus negative 6 is negative 2y. 15.93 plus negative 20.31 is negative 4.38. Divide by negative 2 on both sides, and we end up with $2.19. Okay, so that's Y. Y is under jelly.